Hey, I've never actually read this Gil Kane Superman comic before, but I'm going to do it right now, and you're going to get my real time reaction. Thanks for joining me. My name is Daryl. I am the host of Read Your Comics, and I'm doing something a little different today. Normally, I read these comics, I think about them for a couple of days, and then I record a video. But I kind of wanted to hold off on reading this one and thought I would experiment by reading it as I'm filming. But don't worry, you're not going to see me just staring silently at a page. I'm going to do jump cuts and just give you my thoughts as I'm actually reading it. This is one that I've kind of wanted for a long time. Way back in the day, I got a Wizard Superman special magazine that came out kind of between his death and his return. And this Gil Kane image of Superman is one of the ones they used when they did like a profile on all of the big name artists that have worked on Superman over the years. And they point to this issue as being one of the best works by Gil Kane as a whole. So it's one that I've always kind of wanted it, but didn't really chase after it. But since I've been in this Superman mood as we build up towards the James Gunn movie this summer, I was digging around and I found it and I was like, you know what? I'm going to grab that. I'm going to read it and give my 2 cents. So I do like this cover. I'm familiar with it. I like the iconic looking Superman. I always like the way his cape has this like triangle like shape to it, the way that he's drawn it kind of flowing in the wind here. This background character looks wacky, which if you're familiar with Gil Kane 60s stuff, particularly his DC stuff and his Green Lantern, he designed some pretty outlandish looking alien villains and stuff in the past, so this is right in line with that. And DC doesn't bury the lead here. I mean, they put story and art by Gil Kane right on the cover. So they felt pretty good in this. It is like a special, like an annual kind of book. It's the 1983 special #1. So let's jump on in. Great opening page here. I really like the layout. Nice flowing ethereal waves and stuff going on. Let's see what's happening on the page. All right, interesting. Superman is making a transgalactic crossing and he's spotted these random energy waves and they start pulling him in. This is just a recap of who Superman is, in case you were unfamiliar and picking this up for the first time. Oh, awesome looking splash page here. This is great. Look at this creature. Look at its like tentacly face, other tentacles coming off of it with like bulging I guess these are like tumors almost coming off of it. This is a wild looking creature. You see Superman's cape being pulled in. So Superman's thinking here that this is some kind of energy feeding creature and it's just going to pull whatever matter it gets close enough to. And in this case, Superman is the one being sucked in. Behold the ultimate man. So this is pure Gil Kane. I guess he's doing pencils and inks. He's not doing the coloring though. But otherwise, this is a full on Gil Kane book. So in this 2-page struggle, it looks like Superman has to create his own little centrifugal force to escape this creature, and in doing so, he does it fast enough, creating this vortex that actually flings the creature away. And then it says, now that my side venture is over, I'll return to Earth to be Clark Kent once more. I got a feeling he's going to return to Earth and something's going to be kind of different, is my guess. But surely we wouldn't just start out the issue with just a random battle with a creature and it not play a part as the issue continues. Now, what's going on here? We got like Nazis taking over or something? Some random guy is president? So this is going to get kind of political. There's an advisor to the president here who was apparently, it sounds like he was a conservative talk radio host who was an advisor to the president, I'm going to assume was Ronald Reagan. This came out in 1983. And he attempted a coup to take over the White House, but it was put down, apparently, while Superman was out in space. All right, so this guy's completely unhinged, if we can't already tell. Look, he's like sweating buckets as he goes into this room that apparently has the nuclear launch missile here, the nuclear launch button that he is also threatening the whole United States that if they don't relinquish all power to him, he's going to push the button. He says he's going to either lead the country or destroy it, incinerate it. So Clark's going to slink away. I like this Lois. Look how he's got Lois kind of looking a little like Margaret Kidder, but very modern 80s look. I like this pose by Superman over the city. It's definitely like Manhattan here with I guess the river, a lake kind of surrounding it. And in here, he's thinking about this guy that was such a symbol of integrity and dedication. He represented himself as a great moral leader, and now he's like thrown all that out the window in order to try to take over the government, which is kind of odd. So it looks like Superman's just going to come in and brief the military that he's about to go in and get things figured out. Nice composition of these two panels as well. I like the way that his arms kind of break up this interior panel. Solid 2-page layout here. I like the way that Kane is framing the pages with Superman in this way. So he's obviously using his X-ray vision to try to find him. And up here too, Superman just he doesn't melt the wall completely. He softens it up enough for him to just kind of punch through it pretty easily. He's threatening Superman not to take another step. I like the narration here that Superman does take a step. And it says, all the weight of Wayland's body leans on the deadly electronic button. So one button to launch the codes. I think it's a little more complex than that. But nothing happened. Great perspective of Superman's fist as he's getting ready to let this guy have it. But he doesn't hit him with a fist. He just backhands him. The button didn't work because Superman, when he melted the door, he also broke the circuit to the nuclear button. Some interesting language Superman's using here. You were never courageous, only cunning. Never patriotic, only ambitious. Never moral or just, only corrupt. You deserve our contempt. That can apply today. That's pretty relevant. That was partial payment for the people you victimized with your deceit. You lied to others so often that you came to believe in the fantasies you were creating for the innocent and gullible. You're just another of your own victims. Yeah, it's hard for me not to see like a Fox News talking head in this guy, in this little bit that we've gotten here. Presents himself as a moral authority, really is concocted stories that he believes. Yeah, kind of interesting. Don't ever say that comics weren't ever political. And then we're switching scenes again. Kind of interesting. Now we've gone through like a big galactic thing that Superman fought at the beginning to someone trying to usurp the government. And now we're switching scenes to this scientist who apparently had goals of helping humanity. So let's see where this goes. All right, so our scientist here, he wants to help humanity and is determined that the best way to do that is to replicate Superman's abilities, and he thinks that he's found the way to do that. And it looks like he's going to go ahead and test this on himself. Oh, he's using cosmic rays. So he's going to use those to, I guess, advance evolution somehow. He says he's removed the harmful properties of cosmic rays and that it will send him forward and that he'll be able to look back on primitive humans as current humans look upon apes. And the narration's pretty good, letting us know what's happened to him. He stands transfigured, a figure of physical power and beauty. His eyes reveal an intellectual light that transcends all human knowledge. So it kind of shows you how much of this experiment has elevated him. I've become the ultimate man. And he's just going to use his mind powers to reach out and contact everyone on Earth. Great shot right here. I really like this panel, this montage of all the different heads. Floating heads are always interesting when an artist is able to pull it off in the different expressions and angles that he can squeeze into a single panel. This guy's getting so powerful. I feel like it's going to be one of those stories that ends with him going off into space or something to like transcend life. I mean, here he's describing how his mind is now so powerful he can solve problems that his scientists have spent decades trying to do. And it's kind of beneath him, but he's going to do it anyway as long as everyone obeys. So he wants everyone to follow him and obey, and to show how powerful he is, he's going to create something from nothing and directs his attention towards the waters. So essentially, he just created kind of a mountain out of the in the ocean here. Yeah, I mean that's a pretty big display of power, but I was expecting him to create life or something, more than just some rocks coming up from the ground. And then it also creates a tsunami that it says he's indifferent to. Gotta admit the language in the narration here pretty flowery. I'm not really familiar with Gil Kane as a writer. Off the top of my head, I can't place something else that I've known him to write that I've read. So this is kind of interesting to see. I like the way he does the water here, the way he's rendered this wave. It's kind of jagged, almost like serrated right here, continuing that motif over here. And here comes Superman. And they've named him Ultimate Man. I don't know that he called himself that, but it said it in the narration, and now Superman's thinking it. He's like a force of nature. Superman's able to stop the tidal wave, which I guess is something he's probably done a few times now, so he kind of knows what he's doing. He's able to break it by flying through it real quick and break the water gathering of the wave. So Superman apparently is tracking the mental waves that Ultimate Man was using to connect to all the people on Earth. I like this page a lot. Look at this panel. Look at the like wave going around him. As much as I love like Kirby Crackle and seeing other artists try to render Kirby Crackle, I like when it's almost like there's been an over reliance of many artists, particularly if they came from that era, to try to emulate that. So I always appreciate when someone does something a little different. This like waves of energy surrounding. Although this guy, he calls himself Ultimate Man, and he's elevated himself to the highest form of living being, can solve all kinds of problems that's taken generations for scientists to discover. But it hadn't occurred to him that I'd have to contend with Superman's interference in my ministrations. So, didn't think, oh, maybe Superman, the person I'm modeling myself after, would come after me in this way. It's kind of funny. Another great use of the same kind of energy waves. A little bit of Kirby Crackle happening in between the waves. So to distract Superman, the Ultimate Man's basically going to make a volcano that's been thought to be extinct erupt, and it says the rage Superman feels towards Ultimate Man is held tightly in rein. So all this narration right here is really just describing the volcano blowing up. And we can debate whether or not that's necessary in a comic. I mean, we can see the volcano blowing up. The language Kane is using here is very literary, I think. He's trying to set more mood with the description of it as well as the imagery. And this is of course is another thing that Superman has done who knows how many times at this point. Stopped a volcano from, well, not really stopping it from exploding, but diverting the lava from civilization. I like this close up on Superman's face right here. It's the details like that that I'm really enjoying about looking at Kane's work on this book. So essentially, that's all Superman does here is deflect the lava flow, and then he's saying that he would. Then he's saying out loud that he'd call Ultimate Man a madman if his thinking process were on a scale with mankind's. He's all but disconnected from the human mind as we know it. His values and priorities are radically different, and I've got to stop him at all costs. But here, the Ultimate Man has decided, well, I'm going to have to go up one step further. I need to evolve myself once again. And he's just going to throw everything, and he's just going to throw all the tropes at Superman. A tidal wave, a volcano. Now we're going to have some meteors shower Earth. Superman has to go take care of. Yeah, this is hitting up all the regular tropes. It's like all the Fleischer cartoons in one. All he needs to do is fight some robots. And it's multiple meteors, so he says he can't just smash them because that'll just break them up into smaller pieces that'll hit more areas of Earth. So I think he's saying he's wanting to hit them so hard that it just vaporizes them, and that's what he does. Look, he flies through all of them in a continual path. That's a great page. Says he does it again and again, so he must have had to double back a few times to get any loose pieces that may have come off. More great floating heads. Got to have one going up the nostrils there. That's a Gil Kane trope. So he's still in the process of his evolution. He needs one more catastrophe to happen to delay Superman just enough. Seems like he set off like a nuclear explosion almost in the ocean, is the way that's almost being described. That it's going to set off like some kind of tornado. And he essentially just flies in the reverse order to unwind the tornado. So he keeps trying to get to the Ultimate Man. He keeps delaying him, but that may be the last one. Getting towards the end anyway. Oh man, look what he turns into. I was wondering when the cover look of that like brain kind of design was going to show up. So the Ultimate Man has gone to the Super Ultimate. I guess we'll see what it calls it here in a second. But look what he's turned into. These guys always see like this ultimate version of man as not able to walk anymore. So we basically become like giant heads with like little limbs that don't do anything because we use our minds for everything. He is a figure no longer, vibrant with physical perfection. Instead, his body has grown thin and shriveled. To the creature floating in a chair powered by amazing attendant devices, his prior physical phase was primal, brute like. And now he doesn't even want to like protect Earth like he initially did. He's just like, I'm just going to annihilate it and absorb the resources to serve me and me alone. Ooh, he's turning his mental powers into kryptonite. How's Superman gonna win this? A kryptonite missile. I mean, Superman looks definitely hurting there. Look at that pose, and that's a Gil Kane figure work. You know, he was real good in it with Spider-Man, always like putting Spider-Man in kind of these contorted positions, especially when he was getting hit and knocked back. It's almost like this kryptonite missile is being used like Green Lantern's power. I mean, it's like twisting around and like tying him up, just throwing him out into space. It almost looks like Superman's drowning in water, like air bubbles coming up. Seems like he's defeated, and this guy's even saying so. Okay, so essentially what Superman is doing here is like he did at the beginning of the book when he fought that like interstellar creature. He's creating another vortex to get him out of this void somehow. I guess the kryptonite has gone away. He's regained his powers, although there's no sun around. But he's regained enough of his power, so he's just spinning like a top right here, or maybe he's spinning like around it like that. And he's doing it with such force and power that it's going to sling him out of this void. You get an iconic Superman flying forward pose. Really like the thin ink lines around the fingers and stuff in this. Enjoying this Gil Kane work where he's inking himself. So he's going to go evolve himself once again. And Superman's already decided, like, I can't really keep up with this power. I'm going to somehow have to turn his own power against him. So he's so focused on evolving himself once again because he's kind of infuriated that Superman keeps coming back, and he's thinking, you know, I'm this ultimate form of what human was and is going to become. How is this 20th century super creature able to keep coming back and keep coming in? But he's so focused on evolving again that Superman's able to sneak in. So, oh, I thought he was going to wherever this Ultimate Man was, but he said he's going to get this mega lens that's for the ultimate telescope. Although that's not how ultimate telescopes actually work, but with a big glass lens that had been stored here for cleaning and polishing. And he's going to grab it. I guess it is at the same observatory. I guess this was just set to the side in like another room, but Superman knew it was there. So he's going to go there and refocus this energy. You he's going to magnify it even more. So I think he's going to try to evolve him even beyond what he wants to do. Yep, he's just amplifying it beyond what beyond what it can do. And we already get the page turn, and we see it's kind of like devolved him. I thought he was magnifying. It says, "I must keep this lens in place at the exact location preset controls run." And so he did. For a second there, I was like, "Well, did he devolve him?" And no, he. It kind of goes full circle. So by evolving mankind beyond its ultimate form, it eventually reverts back to its past in a cycle, only to return to its beginning. It's over. He's gone, destroyed by his own ambitions. His mind and body couldn't endure the trauma of endless accelerated mutation. Ambition pursuing its own ends, indifferent to the world about it, corrupts all. No matter how well intentioned, ambition without compassion makes us not more, but less than human. And with that, he returns back to work. It's time for Clark Kent to get back to work. So, a good one shot. I enjoyed it. I like Gil Kane a lot, so it was nice to finally read this and see like his storytelling abilities as a writer. I loved seeing his artwork inked by himself, and it's a solid Superman one shot for hitting all the main tropes. He's taking on galactic creatures. He's taking on corrupt politicians. He's taking on weather disasters, a tsunami, a volcano, a tornado. He's being flung out into space. Kind of do everything in this one book. So for that, you gotta point to this as like kind of an ultimate Superman story. And my prediction didn't hold true. I thought that he would evolve himself to become kind of above mankind to where he just goes off into space, but instead he evolved so far that he went full cycle and started over again. So interesting little sci-fi tale there, and really enjoyed it overall. Definitely pick this one up if you're looking for just a fun Superman read. I think it was definitely worth that. Until next time, read your comics.